Hello and welcome to the Copeland Center's webinar, WRAP and Loneliness with Sherri Rushman. I'm Katie Wilson. I'm the Copeland Center's Director for Marketing and Special Projects, and I'm so happy that so many of you could be here with us today. Let me pass the screen over to Sherri, and then I'm going to go over some of our housekeeping as well as give you about a bio of Sherri, and then we'll get started with the presentation. So, today we're going to be hearing the WRAP and Loneliness webinar with Sherri Rushman. She's going to give about a 45-minute presentation, and then we'll take questions and answers at the end. We will have the PowerPoint and a recording of this webinar available on our website, copelandcenter.com, after the broadcast. So we're just so happy that Sherri Rushman could be here with us today. And let me give you her bio. Sherri Rushman's remarkable recovery process has taken her from being a desperate hope grabber to being an inspired hope giver. In 1971, during her senior year in high school, she began struggling with symptoms of mental illness. After several years of marriage that ended in divorce, Sherri went along with her 3 sons and started the journey to rebuild their lives. She overcame the naysayers who told her she couldn't even pass a college exam. She applied and was accepted to a local university where she was discouraged. She asked for and received encouragement from her family, professors, work colleagues, mental health providers, and church community. Not giving up on her dream, after 8 years, Sherri received a degree in human services with an emphasis in training from Oakland University in 1991. In 1998, she obtained a social worker license in the state of Michigan, and in 2006, completed training to become a certified peer support specialist. Sherri is now living her ultimate goal of working at a public mental health agency and as a national consultant. She teaches people with disabilities and professionals about person-centered planning, crisis planning, advanced directives, how to be a self-advocate, WRAP and loneliness, and how to achieve your goals while living with mental illness. Perhaps most importantly, she shares with others how to be a hope hope giver, and say no to hope stealers. She leads the Health and Wellness Initiative for the Recovery Council for the state of Michigan. Sherri was a recipient of the My Life Award in 2003 from Oakland County Community Mental Health Authority. In 2004, she won the Inspiration First Place Award from Eli Lilly, Helping Move Lives Forward Reintegration Awards. And in 2011, she won 2 awards. Community Living with Services, an agency who serves individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities in Oakland County, presented her with a Recognition Service Award, and she received the prestigious Excellence in Consumer Advocacy from the National Council for Community Behavioral Health Care. Sherri believes that all people can accomplish their dreams and goals for the future. She has developed her own business website and is currently working on a book on the journey of hope and recovery. And of course, Sherri is also a wonderful advanced level WRAP facilitator. So Sherri, I think with that, we're ready to go.
Okay, thanks, Katie. I want to thank everyone who's listening today. My hope is that you'll be able to leave this webinar with some wellness tools and techniques you can use to help you defeat loneliness, or the means to present this material to others. I was introduced to WRAP in 2003. I heard Mary Ellen speak at a one-day conference in Michigan, USA. I decided we needed WRAP in our county and state. I wrote a proposal to management of the CMH I worked at, and it was accepted. I took the correspondence course September 2003 and wrote my first WRAP plan. The course is available for people who do not have access to WRAP in their area. In January of 2004, I had the pleasure to meet a great hope giver, Mary Ellen Copeland. She facilitated the training for me to become a WRAP facilitator. From there, I co-facilitated with many Copeland Center trainings at 5-day facilitator trainings. I officially became an advanced level facilitator in 2007. WRAP has changed my life. It encouraged my recovery. It encouraged me to drop negative thoughts. The thought that was always popping up is that I wanted to die. I was working full-time and still had that thought. My church in childhood didn't accept suicide as an option, so this kept me alive. My quality of life was poor. After being exposed to positive thinking and WRAP in 2003, I changed that negative comment to I want to live. After 3 months of doing that, I have never had this thought come to me again. Mary Ellen Copeland's work really, really has helped me. The other problem I had was I was very lonely. So I saw Mary Ellen's book, The Loneliness Workbook, and it was such a big help when I filled it out. So much so, I've created this workshop on it to help others who are lonely and to offer to fellow WRAP facilitators as a tool to use to introduce Mary Ellen Copeland's The Loneliness Workbook. This has led me to do this webinar for you today. In my personal life, I have 3 grown sons who graduated from college and live on their own. I also have 2 grandchildren who I adore. I'm single and live alone, and swimming almost every day is my greatest wellness tool. Today in this webinar, there will be a few exercises written in black on the PowerPoint. You might want to do them after the webinar in your own time frame. They really help me out, and I'm sure they would help you out too. The PowerPoints will be on the Copeland website after this webinar. So let's get started. So this is called WRAP and Loneliness. And the workshop was based on, like I mentioned, the Loneliness Workbook. Mary Ellen Copeland also did a loneliness study, and she held focus groups, did interviews with people, and had a written survey go out to a lot of different people. And from this, she was able to develop what she has designed in this book. So what is loneliness? Well, it means different things to different people. A description of loneliness would include words that describe feelings. Loneliness is an old, ongoing human condition. It is a feeling of having no common bond with people around you. Loneliness, these are different definitions from different people that she collected information from. And so some of those are loneliness is feeling disconnected and lost, even in the midst of family, without friends or a companion. Feeling like you don't have anyone who wants to be with you. Feeling abandoned and unable to connect with anyone on either a physical or emotional level. Being alone and not comfortable with yourself. There might be some of these things that are listed that you can identify with, or that the people you serve and do WRAP training with would be having in their life. So what are your definitions of loneliness? You can think about that and jot it down or do it after the webinar. But my definition of loneliness for me was, I can relate to the one that says without a companion. I don't have a husband or a boyfriend to share my life with. I watch others who are married and can't relate. So that's how it is for me. Now we're going to talk about an image of loneliness, and we have these from 2 people coming from the study. One is a person dreamed of a great chasm, a chasm so deep that she couldn't see to its bottom, with steep rock cliffs on either side. She was alone on one side of the chasm, looking at the other side. On the other side, people were talking to each other, laughing, and having a good time. There was no way for her to get to the other side where the people were. The person felt excluded and utterly alone. The second person said that when she was lonely, she imagines herself enveloped in a plastic bubble, just floating in space, where no one can hear her and no one cares about her thoughts and feelings. So what are your personal images about loneliness? For me, I feel like my heart is breaking. I imagine my house is locked from the outside and I can't have people in to visit with, or I can't go out to visit with people. So that just gives you some ideas, some examples of things when we think about the images of loneliness. So sometimes there is a reason you can't keep supports or friends. These are connections that go wrong. Now, I can identify with a lot of this stuff. Some people have actually said I'm a champion in loneliness, which I don't know if it's a compliment or not. But some of the things that I was early on of my mental illness, and for quite some years, even when I was a peer support specialist, I really didn't have any friends to do things with. I would go and work as a peer support specialist and helping people, advocating for people and all that. But then when I got home, there was nobody to be with or to call. But then when I got exposed to Mary Ellen's book, it really helped me change some things. Like one thing, I would have people come into my life and try to be my friend, but I kept seeing everybody like they were my therapist. And I would constantly talk to them about my problems, and things would be one-sided. I would become overly dependent on them. The relationship was actually one-sided. It was totally giving to me, and the other person wasn't receiving on their end. And I really wasn't negative necessarily, but I wasn't optimistic either. And then one of the connections that can go wrong is when one person assumes things about the other person. And I didn't really have that issue, but I did have being too needy. And here's some other things of why people avoid you. If you're complaining constantly, being self-centered, and I was often self-centered. It was all about me. I was very fearful of rejection, and I have very low self-esteem, or have had. My low self-esteem has gotten a lot better, and Mary Ellen Copeland also has things in her workbook talking to you about how to raise your self-esteem. Or being excessively angry could help people avoid you, or worrying and fretting needlessly. I do worry and fret easily, and the next workshop I hope to do is on her worry workbook by Mary Ellen. Things that don't enhance relationships. Well, being embarrassing is one. When my parents would try to take me out to dinner, I would embarrass them terribly. I would be talking really loud so everybody could hear. I was talking all about my problems, and they would try to get me to be quiet, but finally they had to decide not to take me out to restaurants anymore because I was too embarrassing. I will say this, that I've changed that, and things were not going well between my family and I, which happens to a lot of people who have a mental illness. And I decided at a certain time, after I got introduced to WRAP, to reconnect with my family. And the first thing I did was do things that would help them not feel embarrassed and to act in a way that they would want to have me in their life. Also, some other things that don't enhance relationships is if you're interrupting all the time, or you messages, or you break confidentiality, one person doing all the talking, wanting to be their only friend. I would get jealous so easily when my friends would be with other people, and I had to get over that. So remember, there is hope. This is a picture of some of the people in my church community, and at first it was just all about me. Will you pray for my children? Will you pray for me and my mental illness? Just constantly asking for help. But as the years have gone on, I've actually developed friendships where it's mutual, it's a give and take. We both do for each other. We both do the talking. We both do the inviting each other to do things. So it really has changed for me, and I consider a lot of them great friends. Connections can go right. Mary Ellen says people being lovingly supported and supporting others are powerful contributors to our social, psychological, spiritual, and even physical well-being. From her research, she found it is important to have at least 5 supporters. And these are a picture of my team that I work with here where I work, and they have been very supportive, from making copies to making the PowerPoint, and my supervisor in the green has given me so many opportunities to move myself into being able to advocate for the people we serve. Also, these are some people from the state of Michigan. That's me receiving my peer support specialist certificate. I actually was a peer support specialist from 1996 to 2003, and the certification in our state didn't come out until after I left being a peer support specialist, but it was still important to me to get that certification. And also, the woman on the left, Pam Warner, she has given me tons of opportunities for the year, helped me with my bio, and helped me just tremendously to move on towards recovery in my life. So let's talk about the opposite of loneliness. Times when you don't feel lonely. You feel connected to the people you're with. You feel that you are understood and respected. You enjoy times with people. This is one thing that I've had to continually work on, is enjoying times with people and not getting caught up in worry and, you know, just constantly being kind of negative and not enjoyable to be with. I've had to really work on that. Having a balance between being with others and being alone. That has been really important. One of the biggest things I had to learn was how to be happy being alone, especially since I am alone most of the time besides working. It's very important to find things that you can do that will make you happy and comforted when you are alone. Also, the opposite is feeling love, togetherness, feeling whole and complete, and a sense of belonging. So let's do, let's do an exploratory exercise. So I want you to actually sit back in your chair right now. Make sure you feel comfortable. Take a few minutes or take a few deep breaths. Focus on feeling not lonely. To do this, you may need to think of a time in your life when you are not lonely. If you can't think of a time, imagine such a time, focus, and enjoy these feelings. So just go ahead and imagine it if you've never had it. I'm just going to give you a few moments to think about these great feelings of not feeling lonely. Thinking of a time when I didn't feel lonely. After not feeling loneliness, after this exercise, I feel happy. I feel loved and cherished when I'm with a friend, and I feel happy knowing there will be more times like this. So that's what this exercise has done for me. It helps me feel warm fuzzies, and it helps me realize that I can have more and more friendships where things are really working well. So even if you don't have, or the people you're working with don't have 5 support people, if they just start with one and start on these things that I talked about, if they can just not be too dependent and all those other things I mentioned, they will grow and learn how to be a good friend, and then they will attract other friends. And I will talk about that more. Raising your self-esteem. Here's a couple things that Mary Ellen talks about. Exercising, doing things you really like to do, taking good care of yourself, developing a scrapbook that celebrates you, making an appreciation paper, receiving compliments at night. At night, write about how you treated yourself well during the day. List of strengths to bring to a friendship. These are things that you want to work on if you don't have many friends in your life that will make you more attractive to people. You want to be a good listener. You want to be warm and friendly. You would like to be part of a good conversation, supportive to others, have a lot of interests that you would like to share, being very compassionate, playful, and enjoy humor, being passionate, entertaining and witty, generous and kind-hearted, interested in a variety of ideas, issues, and activities. I make it a point to affirm and validate the experiences of others. That you can accept others as they are, and that you don't try to change them. That you enjoy sharing fun and interesting activities with others. I will go out on a limb for others if they need and want me to do that. So after this workshop, it would be a good idea, it's really helpful, to list your strengths that make you a good friend. Sometimes we have this negative track going on in our mind, and we think of these negative thoughts, like I talked to you earlier, that you can have negative thoughts pop in your mind, and you need to come up with an affirmation or an opposite to that negative thought and really confess it and think about it, write it down, and just pay attention to it. And this list will really help you focus on what you need to do to be a good friend. So beginning and maintaining relationships. Things that you can do to enhance having relationships is you're going to reach out to others. You're going to introduce yourself, you're going to start chatting, you're going to arrange to get together with them, you're going to phone them and check in with them, seeing how they're doing. You want to stay connected with them, and you want to respect their boundaries, though, at the same time. The qualities of good supporters. This is someone you can trust and respect you, that can be confidential, have time for you, who will allow you the space to change, grow, make decisions, and make mistakes, who accept you both as you are and as you want to be. Good supporters would be people who care about you, who would advocate for you, who would make decisions when you can't, and willing to follow your predetermined plan. Someone who will treat you well, not force advice on you. This is really important to find good supporters, because sometimes when I've tried to have friends, I was more like a doormat to them. And what I mean is they would do what I did wrong for many years, and that is they would take, and they really they weren't mutual with the friendship at all. And so some of those people you have to take out of your life if they're not good supporters. And I've had to do that with a few people, and it really has helped. And I think they learn from it too, on things they need to change to be a good friend to others. So when you're being with supporters, you're listening, you're sharing, you're empathizing. You can do exchange listening, which a lot of us who do WRAP know that it's listening to one another, not giving advice, and letting the person just talk about whatever they want to talk about and not considering it a symptom or anything, but just really listening. And then also, it's good to do check-ins with each other, see how each other is doing. You want to be able to problem solve with the person that's supporting you, and also you supporting them. And you want to be supporting each other through hard times. You want to be using I statements, and again, you need to respect boundaries. Boundaries were very hard for me. I didn't have any boundaries for myself, and I had a hard time respecting people's boundaries. And sometimes I would just call when they really needed a break from me. And one thing I've learned to do with one friend is that we call every other day instead of every day, so that we have time to be with other people and do other things. So here's your assignment. Describe after workshop on paper your relationships with people with whom you feel you have a deep, rich friendship. If you feel you don't have any, write what you would like in the friendship. And then the second assignment is, do you have mutuality in your friendships? If you do it, you will see it works. Describe how it works for you after the workshop. So that's pretty much the PowerPoint, and I've done this PowerPoint with groups, with the people that we serve. I've done it with staff members and families, And people have really, really benefited from this PowerPoint, and I did it at the National Peer Sports Specialists conference, and we had a lot of, maybe some of you are here today, who contributed to helping us write a WRAP plan for loneliness, and I'm going to go over that in a few minutes. And it's just a really good tool to be able to help people with loneliness. You wouldn't believe how many people deal with this. And there might even be a few of you that, even though you're doing the work of WRAP and you've come a long way in recovery, there just might be those times when you have loneliness come down your path. So I'm going to change PowerPoint. Just give me a minute. Katie, I'm having a little trouble switching the PowerPoint.
You were doing what you needed to do. Click on the PowerPoint on the bottom of your screen.
Uh-huh. I need to get rid of the stuff on the screen, though, don't I?
You can just pull the other one up on top of it.
Okay. Right now there's a screen I need to look at. Okay, I'm almost there.
Great.
Just had to look at something. Okay. Oh, now I don't see it. Let's see.
If you open the go to the just one more over, the
Purple one?
the opposite way. No, that on the very other end. Next one. 2 over from that. That one.
The button,
Yeah.
colorful button?
Yeah. And then let's see. Is it in your documents?
No, it's I've got a flash drive in.
Okay. How
I go
about
to my computer, I guess.
yeah.
Okay. All right, I think I'm on my way.
Great. You're doing great. There
All
it is.
right, I'm sorry everybody for the technical difficulties. It's one thing I don't do very well. So,
All right, we're on our way.
all right, we're all set. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Now what I'm going to go through is a WRAP plan that was developed with a lot of different sources. I had received the PowerPoint from Mary Ellen's Developing a Strong Support System 2009 webinar. So I started with that and got ideas from that, and then I applied my own personal WRAP for loneliness and put some of that in this WRAP plan. And then finally we had a lot of different WRAP facilitators in my workshop at the NAPS conference, and we did a WRAP into the room as far as we could go. And I'm hoping at the WRAP Around World conference to even further this WRAP plan and get people to do different parts in different parts of the room and really get a very good WRAP plan. And this gives you an example to share with people when you're trying to help them come up with a WRAP plan for loneliness. And as you know, WRAP plans can be on any subject you want it to be. And this one is particularly focused on loneliness. So just to go over, as a lot of us know, WRAP includes a wellness toolbox, a daily maintenance plan, triggers and an action plan, early warning signs and an action plan, when things are breaking down and an action plan, crisis planning and post-crisis planning. I can't tell you enough how much WRAP has helped me so much in my recovery. And when you're helping people do WRAP plans, you want to be sure to tell them that they get to decide when they develop it, how long they want to work on it, what they put in it, when they want to revise it, and how they want to use it in their lives. Everything is totally voluntary, and you just need to remember that when you're working with others. So here's a long list of wellness tools that we have come up with. Acting cheerful until you really feel it. That actually really works. One thing that I like to do is if I'm feeling really down and lonely, I call up a friend and I don't share anything about how lonely I'm feeling or down or anything. I just ask how their day is going. Pretty soon they're sharing everything they need to share, maybe a problem, maybe they need prayer, whatever. And I'm totally just listening and being there for them. Do you know what? When I get off that phone call, I'm feeling great. So it goes a long way, and to help others really makes you feel good. Another thing that people find helpful is singing to God or dancing to the radio, listening to a favorite CD, practice laughing out loud, meditate or pray, keep busy doing something that you consider useful and productive and has a sense of accomplishment. That is very important for me, this wellness tool, because I just feel so much better when my house is clean and everything is organized at work, and it really helps me. I even have gone to the point of color coding my files and you know, typing out the little slips you put in that represents the file. And I go through all this time, and it keeps me busy so that I don't feel lonely and everything. And I really enjoy doing something like that. And everybody needs to find something that they consider useful and productive. It doesn't have to be what others think you should be doing, but what you can do. Sometimes you just end up having a good cry. Or you can call a friend who is upbeat and cheerful. You can go out to dinner with someone who is positive. Go to a movie. I love to go to movies, and I just got Netflix on my TV. And the reason why I did that is because I was watching shows that were not really helping me, and they were, you know, a lot of negative things, murder and things like that. And so I got rid of my cable TV, and now I can pick out movies that I find really helpful and edifying. And I'm not saying that you all have to get rid of your cable TV, but it's just helped me so much. I took the TV out of my bedroom, and I'm reading more, and it's just really, really helped me. These wellness tools have really, really helped me. You want to focus your attention on your self-esteem, and you need to enjoy time alone. A lot of times people, when they're feeling really, really alone, is because they can't handle being alone. They constantly want to be with somebody. But that just will not work. There are just not people that can be there for you 100% of the time. People have lives. They have other things to do. Like in my life, I have a lot of married friends with children, and they're busy. They're not always able to go out to the movies with me or whatever. So I'm a person that will go to a movie by myself. And I've really learned to enjoy times alone. You want to maybe make a list of things that you could do during times alone that would keep you from feeling lonely. Reconnecting with family, as I had mentioned, it's not an easy thing to do, but I'll tell you, you really feel good when your family is behind you. And it took years for me to have a good relationship with my family. They had a really hard time with my mental illness, and sometimes they used some tough love with me, and we need to be able to receive that. Sometimes they had to say, you know what, call me up when you're well. And some people might think, wow, that's really heartless. But you know what? It's really gotten me to a place of independence where I'm having a happy life, a productive, good quality life, and I feel that a lot of the tough love that my parents and my family gave me really helped me get to that place. And you want to connect and be with your supporters, which could be friends, family, colleagues, peers, or healthcare providers and neighbors. Knowing that loneliness doesn't have to exist. You don't need to accept loneliness. It is something you can do. It was very encouraging reading Mary Ellen Copeland's book on loneliness because she showed how people could have been lonely their whole lives and somehow found a way to turn that around and find support. And it is possible, and you need to know that, and you need to share that with the people you're working with, that they don't have to accept that. Excuse me. All right. Another wellness tool could be to do something creative or to read. I'm really enjoying reading lately since I got rid of my cable, and focusing my attention on self-esteem and enjoy my time alone. Oh, I already did this. Excuse me. All right, so some other wellness tools are to help others, like I had mentioned, write a letter, send a card. I've really gotten into the sending the card mode, and it's really been a blessing to my family. I've been sending them cards every Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, all these different days I've been sending them cards, and they really have appreciated it and have turned around and done the same for me. So it's a really neat wellness tool to do that with people. Send people an email. Sometimes you can't keep emails going for very long between a couple people, but if you have a lot of different people you're interacting with, then that will fill your time, and you will feel good about relating to people. Writing in your journal can be a really great wellness tool, or doing a task and be happy you did it. I had heard some people tell me that when they first wrote their WRAP plan and they were writing on their daily maintenance plan what they needed to do every day, some of them chose to make their bed, that if they made their bed, they felt good about their whole day if they started it that way. So there always can be some kind of wellness tool that you can use in your daily maintenance plan that will really help you keep well, stay well, and be well. Do a task or swim an hour as many days as possible. Okay, that's applying to me. I'm a person who loves to swim, and for a year and a half I swam an hour every day. And the one thing that was really neat about it is I had gotten sick and I was off work for 6 months. And during that 6 months, my psychiatrist came to me and said, I think we need to hospitalize you. And I said, you know what, I've got a WRAP plan. And I brought the WRAP plan to his office, and I said, see where it says daily maintenance plan, what I need to do every day? And he read it, and he said, swim. I said, yes. I said, if you put me in the hospital, I can't swim every day. And that would really be hard on me. And so it kept me out of the hospital. So WRAP plans can keep you out of the hospital and help you get well quicker by you developing a lot of action plans that will really, really help you. Mutuality, I mentioned that before, is really important in a relationship, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun being mutual with somebody. And beginning and maintaining relationships is a good wellness tool. Organizing files for self and others, that's one I put in there. Gardening, volunteering, work, join a support group, peer counseling, go to interesting things in the community, commit yourself to learning and to improving your life, working on writing a book, which is what I'm trying to do, go to sport games, creative arts, pet therapy, rock in silence. Not calling support. Oh, what I'm like when I feel well. Okay, so we know this gives us a picture of what we're aiming to feel most of the times in our lives. So we want to be not calling supports and friends too much, not isolating. We want to be helping others. Maybe we could go swimming with a friend, or I guess I forget that some of this plan was for me. So what I'm like when I'm well is going swimming with a friend, or going to a support group, having people over for a meal, talking to neighbors, being with people instead of watching too much TV. I really find that to be really helpful to get rid of the TV. And go to church and enjoy time alone. And I can't say that enough about enjoying time alone. What I'm like when I'm well, continued, is anxiety-free, happy, relaxed, outgoing, staying active, creative, patient, joking, and looking younger. All those things came from the NAPS conference that I went to from the participating WRAP facilitators, and I thought they were kind of neat what they shared. And then the daily maintenance plan, which wellness tools do you need to use every day to assure that your support system is strong? Call at least one friend or family member, avoid people who treat me badly, have a 5-minute exchange listening session with a supporter, spend at least 1/2 hour doing something fun alone, help someone, and take my medication on time. Also, personal hygiene, eat, get out of bed, get sunlight, talk to pets. We all know, we've all been there at those times when those were very important. Things that you might need to do: spend more time with supporters, make an appointment with a care provider, spend extra time alone, plan a special activity with a supporter, arrange a meeting for your supporters, discuss your advanced directive with your supporters, listen and empathize with a friend, cleaning, visit psychologists, therapists, shopping, taking medications, stick to a schedule, stay organized, and sexual release. Triggers: a disagreement with a friend, someone treating me badly, no friends being available, a friend canceled a time together, being judged or criticized, ending of a relationship, a difficult phone call, or not enough time alone. Boredom, frustration, death of a friend or loved one, pain, being ignored, embarrassment, finances, politics, negative media. The action plan for triggers could be using I statements, respecting boundaries, talking to a supporter, exercise with somebody, 1 hour of doing something alone that you enjoy, going to a support group meeting, spending time with a best friend. Those are all things you can do to help you feel better. Early warning signs. This would be: I have less than 5 people on my list of supporters. I don't want to answer the phone or door. I'm feeling needy and desperate. I'm being impatient with others. I feel hurt someone can't pay attention to me. I feel that people don't like me. I'm depressed. And the action plan for early warning signs could be 2 peer counseling sessions, call a friend and tell them how I'm feeling, ask for ideas, ask a friend to go for a walk with me, go to a movie myself, do something I do well, do something nice for someone else. When things are breaking down: I haven't reached out to a supporter in 3 days. I feel no one likes me. I am rude to somebody. I am very irritable and impatient. I call supporters too much. Crying when alone often. And an action plan for when things are breaking down could be: have a 5-minute check-in with each of your supporters. Problem solve with your supporters. Have a meal with family. Use I statements. Treat others with unconditional high regard. Spend at least 2 hours doing something I enjoy alone. Notice that time of spending time alone increases as things get harder. Crisis plan. A lot of you know about this. The next section of WRAP is the crisis plan or advanced directive. This is where you'll list indicators that your supporters need to take over for you. They each have a copy of your crisis plan and know your predetermined directions. Include in your plan people you don't want to support you at this time also. Your post-crisis plan. Your support team is the key in your post-crisis plan. You may want to review that with them as well. List clearly the people you want to assist and support you through the post-crisis phase. Be clear about people you need to avoid. Your support team will be crucial as you gradually work towards resuming